When we are overthinking, we're looking into the past or into the future. Being focused means being present. Welcome to Choose to Rise, where today we're going to be talking about overthinking and how to stop overthinking. Because when we overthink things, we are trapping ourselves in inaction. Today, I want to give you some simple steps to get you moving again, living a life of freedom and action and focus and living in the present. I was listening to a podcast the other day with Michael Phelps and Tony Robbins, and Michael Phelps had this quote. They said, if you're one step in the past and one step in the future, you're really something on the present. I realize I don't want to say that word here on my show, but it was so true. Like you're really dismissing the present. You're dismissing the now if we're always focused on the past or always focused on the present or always focused on the future. And if you can really love who you are now, if you can love the skin that you're in, if you can love who God's made you to be and live in the present, you'll get the most out of life. So we want to stop overthinking things. We want to keep moving forward and we want to get out of the inaction of life. And if you want to connect with me more, I would highly encourage you to head over to chooseToRiseUp.com, where you can learn more about me, learn more about my mission. You can find past episodes of Choose to Rise, and you can, leave a rating and review of our podcast or get connected with me by just scrolling down to the bottom and filling out the Connect with Me section. I would love to connect with you as a listener and learn more about you and what it is that you want more of here on Choose to Rise. So let's talk about overthinking, right? What is it that about overthinking that is just kind of a struggle for us? We get overwhelmed making decisions. Some of us have choices that just seem so overwhelming that are maybe seem mundane, but are things that we need to do on a daily basis. And by getting in that paralysis of ourselves, we often get stuck in overthinking decisions. We oftentimes get really so wrapped up in what's happened in the past that we can't even think about moving forward, or we get so wrapped up in the could, should, maybe, won't, will, not, I don't knows, that we can't move forward into the future. So I'm going to share with you some tips today of how to stop overthinking. I want to help you to take action and just keep moving forward. And if you maybe you're a believer in this, maybe you're not, but the phrase done is better than perfect has really helped me a lot in the long run, in the past, of really making sure that I'm just moving forward. This last weekend I had a health fair that I was a part of, that I shared part of my story at, and I was had a booth at, and I really could have really gotten myself overwhelmed with the setup of the booth and trying to make sure I had all the right information and those kinds of things. But I really had to put a lot of these things into practice and say, done is better than perfect. That I'm going to just get the information out there. I'm going to go, I'm going to be electric. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to meet new people, and it's going to be amazing. But I could have gotten wrapped up in the details and really stressed myself out, but I didn't, because I followed some of these things, and I want to share them with you today. So number one is plan a specific time to think about it. Now this one may seem kind of crazy, but it is so true. When you have a certain time and a certain allotment of time, like it's not just, I'm going to think about this on Tuesday. It's, I'm going to think about this, when I have these kind of situations set up for myself. So I'm going to schedule some time where I'm just going to think about this activity. I'm just going to think about this situation. And I'm going to write out a bunch of the things that are going to be coulds or woulds, or I'm going to think about all the things that are going to be positive situations and negative situations, and then really plan it out. Then when that time is over, I'm done overanalyzing it. I'm done thinking about it. I'm going to make a decision at that point and then live with it, right? And one of the other things is when you struggle, you just keep trying. When you fail is when you learn. It doesn't, just because you make a choice, and it may or may not be the right choice, but when you don't do something well, that's when you get better at it, because now that's not the right way to do it, and you're going to learn something from that situation and do something different about it next time. So plan a specific time to think about it, really focus in on that thing at that moment, and then give yourself permission and the right to let go of it and just move on. The second thing is put a time limit on it. Don't allow overthinking to continuous situation, right? So when you say on Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to think about, buying a car or whatever your situation might be, don't overanalyze it and spend all afternoon and then all Wednesday and all Thursday and all. My husband does this all the time where he just like obsesses over something. I'm like, okay, we need to make a decision now. We need to stop and think about it and then move on. So put a time limit on it. Give yourself a deadline. I'm going to make this decision by XYZ, and then that's when you're going to do it. The third thing is distract yourself from the other things. Maybe you are, if you're not getting to the point where you're recognizing that you're overthinking something, that you're going too far, that it's just become an obsession of something, distract yourself. Find something else to take up your time. Find someone to talk to. Find a book to read. Find a good podcast to listen to. Find something else in your to-do list to get yourself moving. The next one is firmly tell yourself to stop thinking about it. Yep, just tell yourself, you're in control of yourself, right? I'm in control of me, you're in control of you. To tell yourself, stop, just stop. Stop thinking about this and move on to something else. Pull up, you have your to-do list, you have your calendar in front of you. What else can you be doing something with? Write it down is the next step, or is the next clue, next tip I have for you. When you can write things out and maybe put them in a graphic organizer of some sort of way, you're able to really analyze it and kind of take yourself into that 30,000 foot view where you can really figure out what is going to be the best choice. By writing it down, limiting your choices, maybe making fewer choices, it makes deciding easier. When we have kids and it's like, get dressed, right? And then they're like, well, what do I wear? And you're like, you have a whole drawer full of stuff. Put something on. And they're like, it's so good. You're like, have you ever had that experience, moms, where your kids are just like, I don't know what to do? Well, it makes it super simple when you say, you have these 2 pairs of pants. Which one do you want to wear? You have these 2 shirts. Which one do you want to wear? A lot of people say that limiting your choices, fewer choices, makes deciding easier. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like there's just so much going on, start to whittle things down. Make criteria of what it is that you're going to need to have for that day or that situation or that experience, and then limit your choices to what, sort it all out so that you have very few choices, and then make an X or a Y kind of choice, right? An A or a B. Let go of perfection. Strive for good enough rather than perfect. This is that I was saying earlier. Done is better than perfect. If you have to wait for perfect, you're never going to get anything accomplished. Embrace the mistakes. Mistakes and disagreements are part of a growth process, and you learn by having mistakes. You learn by having things that are not necessarily perfect, and you can change something up for the next time. Nothing is ever set in stone, and nothing is really ever the end result. If you are maybe even doing a big business presentation and you're working for a job, or it's an interview of some sort, or you're moving forward in that kind of way, and you feel like it's like the thing for you, what comes to you is what's for you will never pass you. So if you are meant to do this job, or if you're meant to do that thing, then opportunity will come up again for you. But if it's you've overthought it and you've taken too much time, or you really stressed yourself out and thinking that perfection is the thing that you need, it may not work out for you at that moment. But give it time, give it grace, come back to it again, and look for opportunities for you to grow in the situation and stay focused on the present. Don't spend so much time in the what if land, and start focusing. If you're going to focus on the what if land, focus on the good things that could happen. A lot of moms, grandmas, wives, kind of stereotyping here, and a lot of people just in general. And when they get caught up in the what if land, it's always in the negative, right? Have you ever noticed that when you start thinking about what if, where does your mind go? Does it go to what if this is amazing? Or does it go to what if this happens and it's a negative thing? Like, what if someone gets hurt? What if the stock market crashes? What if this happens and it's a horrible thing? That's typically where our minds go, into the negative situation. But I would challenge you that if you are going to go into what if land, that you go the opposite direction and you go, what if this turns out to be the most amazing thing ever? What if I feel the best I've ever felt? What if I've made the best choice in the world and this is the good thing for me? What if and go in the positive direction instead of going into the negative direction? Instead of overthinking can be the negative side of things. But what if you're overthinking into the dreaming land? What if you're overthinking into the positive things that could happen in your life? You would be much more likely to step forward out of your comfort zone if it's something that you believe in and that you love and that you want to be a part of, instead of always focusing on the negative thing. Of course, nobody wants to get out of their comfort zone. Of course, people want to just stay there and live in because there's a fear and scarcity mindset. But if you can go forward in a positive way and you can dream and stop overthinking because you're wanting to get to the good things in life, that my friend is living, and that, my friend, is a lot of fun. And I can tell you from my own situation and learning it in this process that when I gave myself a specific time, when I give myself a deadline, this is when the decision is going to be made, and I did it. And I firmly tell myself to stop the chaos in my head, and I write down my choices, and I, sort out the goods and the bads, and I really focus on the being good enough over perfect, and I embrace the mistakes that I make because I'm human. I'm a broken person in a broken world, and life is never going to be perfect. I embrace my mistakes. I learn from them. I embrace the things that have been a part of my life. The negative things have been part of my life because they've taught me, they've shaped me, they've moved me forward in a good way. And then I focus on the what if happens to my positive world. And when I do those things in my world, I'm able to stop overthinking. I can start living in the present. I can start appreciating what God's given me right here, right now. And I can open up my eyes to see all of the amazing things that He's given me and has prepared me for this beautiful life that He has for me here on this earth. Now, this is not the last place that I get to be. This is the current situation. This is my present. But where I'm going is so much more amazing than this. And so if I can live my best life here and learn to love and to serve and to encourage other people here on this earth, I can't wait for what's going to happen in the land of if, in the good, in the gracious, in heaven and up beyond, in a beautiful thing. So I hope and pray today that you are able to stop overthinking, that you're able to let go of the past, that you're able to not worry about the future and live in your present. Focus on the good and the now, and give yourself the grace to stop overthinking and live your best life. Because when we are really focusing on the situation, when we're overthinking, we're looking into the past and we're looking to the future. But being focused on the present means that you're getting out of the trap of inaction and you're moving again and you're living a life of freedom and action. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. And so thank you so much for joining me today. And if you want to hear more about Choose to Rise, head over to my website, chooseToRiseUp.com. Check out past episodes. Make sure that you are loving life there, and leave a rating and review for us on iTunes. That helps more people find us, and it just helps more people be encouraged. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you again here next time. Bye.